It's Dirty Story Night. We have John Crick Fellatio, formerly known as Easy Mac, here with a story for you, UFOs. Before you hear that, please check out our parent network, IABDpresents.com. It's an entertainment network based in Columbus, Ohio, with podcasts, written work, video series, and more. This week I want to highlight It's All Been Written, which is our short story competition. We are posting the audio dramatization of our first place winner from last year any day now, if it's not already up by the time you hear this. And the rules for our second annual competition, I've been told I can't call it annual because it's only the second, but our second competition that will be an annual competition are posted on that website. If you go to IABDpresents.com and go under the written work, you'll see the rules. Please write up a short story, send it to us, enter. And you can also go to patreon.com/IABD to support us and for bonus content. Now enjoy Dirty Story Night.
I'm John Crick Fellatio. My story is called U.F. Uh-oh. A small smattering of friends have collected in the living room of Ren and Stimpy to celebrate Shaven Yak Day. Mr. Horse has just finished whizzing on the electric fence for the third time this evening, and as he shook with the last jolt of electricity pulsing through his cock, giant in spite of being currently flaccid, he announced, "No, sir, I don't like it." The other guests looked equally haggard. "What did you plan next for our entertainment, Stimpy?" Ren inquired. Clearly, our guests are growing weary of electrocution. Mrs. Butlows nodded enthusiastically in agreement, almost shaking the curlers loose from her head. Stimpy looked at his feet bashfully. "Well, Ren, I didn't really have anything else planned." "Stimpy, you idiot!" Ren chastised. "The Shaven Yak doesn't row through the sky until 11:36 p.m. and it's only..." Ren pulled the fur back from his wrist, revealing no watch, but somehow he intrinsically knew it was only 13 past 7. "What are we going to do for 4 hours and 23 minutes? We still have apples to apples somewhere," Stimpy suggested sheepishly, absent-mindedly fingering the rim of the bottle of vodka he had just finished off. The kilted yaksman stood up and disgustedly dusted off his kilt, interjecting, "What is this, 2005? Then he and the other guests started shuffling towards the door. "Wait!" Stimpy shouted, holding up the empty bottle. "Spin the bottle!" His party guests stopped in their tracks and pivoted with the choreographed synchrony that can only be achieved with strenuous practice or in a cartoon. The looks on their faces said he had their attention, but they weren't quite convinced. But instead of kissing, when the bottle lands on someone, they get to pick an object in the room to insert in the bottle spinner's anus. The guests settled back down, Mrs. Butlows clapping excitedly. "Good idea, lad," declared the kilted yaksman, adjusting his belt around his taut abdomen. "I'll go first, if you don't mind." He grabbed the bottle. The partygoers arranged themselves in a circle, and the glass bottle clattered loudly as it spun in the breathless, anticipatory silence that ensued. The bottle slowed and finally halted, its neck pointed at a giddy Mrs. Butlows. Mrs. Butlows giggled as she flounced around the room, her pink leotard barely containing all of her tremendous mass. She browsed the shelves until she settled on a large, collectible Muddy Mudskipper figurine with articulated fin joints. "Not that!" Ren shouted. "That is one of only 17 Muddy Mudskipper action figures with articulated fin joints in known existence. It would sell for at least $324 on eBay." Stimpy wagged his finger at Ren's protest. "You agreed to the rules. Any item in the room." "Fine," Ren pouted and sat back down, arms crossed in anger. The kilted yaksman bent over and lifted his kilt, revealing a tight but remarkably hairy butt with a tighter and hairier little butthole. "Fins out, little buddy, you're going for a swim," Mrs. Butlow shouted as she deftly plunged the toy into his rectum. The kiltsman didn't flinch, and he sat back down and passed the bottle to his right. "Your turn, Stimpy." Stimpy spun, and the bottle pointed to Mrs. Butlow's. "Oh, goody," she cried gleefully, having already picked out the next item for insertion. She dashed over to the corner where they kept their blammo log and hefted it back to the circle. I don't know, Stimpy stared wide-eyed. That might be a little big. Wren mocked. Any object in the room. Okay then, Mrs. Butlows, but be gentle, said Stimpy hesitantly, procuring his pussycat posterior. Using all her strength in both arms, she shoved the log deep into Stimpy's colon. When the bottom of the log was revealed, they discovered a red warning label, which read, "Not under any circumstances to be inserted in the anus." Mrs. Butlows giggled. Oops. Okay, guys, Stimpy gasped painfully. Can we pull it out now? Wren wrapped his skinny arms around the circumference of the log and pulled with all his might, but the log refused to budge. That might not be coming out anytime soon, old buddy, Wren stated. Let me try, said the kilted yaxman. Gripping tightly, Mr. Horse and Wren held Stimpy's arms, while the kilted yaxman pulled the log, and Mrs. Butlows pulled the kilted yaxman. Stimpy was lifted horizontal, and everyone pulled with all their might, but to no avail. I have an idea, declared Mr. Horseman, pulling his cell phone out from his own rectum, much to everyone's confusion. He dialed the number for the Powdered Toast Man's tongue phone. Hello? Answered the Powdered Toast Man. An emergency? A log jam? I'll be right there. True to his muffled words, the Powdered Toast Man arrived just moments after hanging up his tongue. The guest let him in and led him to the afflicted asshole. Leave everything to me, shouted Powdered Toast Man, lubricating Stimpy's anus with butter from his head and pulling with all the might his superhuman muscles could muster. Wow, that's really stuck. But I have an idea. Powdered Toast Man looped a bit of rope around the log, grasped the other end of the rope in his hand, and hurtled feet first out the window, flying backwards into the sky. Stimpy yowled as he was yanked through the air by his blocked back door. They rapidly gained altitude, soaring at eye-watering speeds had either of them been flying facing forward. Powdered Toast Man was nearly ready to give up when a tremendous pop, like a tremendous cork pulling out of a tremendous champagne bottle, rang through the night. Powdered Toast Man swooped under Stimpy, who clung to his buttocks to ride down to safety. But feeling Powdered Toast Man's round cheeks in his hands, Stimpy felt a stirring in his loins. By the time he was standing on firm ground, something of Stimpy's was standing quite firm itself. Powdered Toast Man, Stimpy sighed. I owe you my life. I feel I really must repay you. I'm not gay, Stimpy, the Powdered Toast Man replied, but I would accept a quick blowjob. It's not gay unless the balls touch. Stimpy licked his lips and willingly accepted Powdered Toast Man's throbbing cock into his moist mouth. Stimpy's sandpaper cat tongue stimulated Powdered Toast Man as he had never been stimulated before, and he ejaculated with speed and ferocity into Stimpy's throat. Wow, that was delicious, Stimpy gasped. What is your jizz made of? Squeezable parquet. I can't believe it's not butter, Stimpy shouted, as Powdered Toast Man flew into the sky and jumped into the shaved yacked canoe. Shit, Stimpy said, realizing that the Powdered Toast Man had dropped him off nowhere near his house.